Can you guys hear me? Check, check, check. Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Check, check, check. Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Check, check, check. Sweet. All right, I'll turn this down. Welcome. I don't do this very often, but this is called paying it forward. So, all right. So we have the gold chart up there, and we have the US 30 chart. We're gonna focus on gold. All right. Let me pull up the Epic pen real quick. Let me pull up my favorite Epic pen. I don't know why this stuff is all happening. Okay. So we got the Epic pen. Everybody can hear me. This is the gold chart. We're going to go to it here. Okay, so the first thing I do, I've been doing this for 18 years, guys. 18 long ass years. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do when I go to the charts is I'm going to look at what the trend is. Okay, I'm not a scalper. Like I said, I'd rather get kicked in the balls than scalp. Okay, this isn't the scalping place. All right, if you're going to scalp, you go somewhere else, because I would rather get kicked in the balls than scalp. Okay. And the reason I say that is because scalping, you have to have pretty precise entries, and I just don't care to scalp. Okay, so I swing trade, whatever you want to call it. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my 4-hour chart, and I'm going to see what the trend is. I don't need stupid indicators to tell me what the trend is. Okay, I'm going to circle from where the very left of my chart is to where the very right of my chart is. And as you can see on there, as I draw this, you'll see that gold on the 4-hour is an uptrend, right? Does anybody disagree with that? Does anybody disagree with the fact that gold on the 4-hour is an uptrend? Does anybody disagree? I guess you have to draw that other circle around here. Okay, perfect. So the 4-hour is an uptrend, right? Now I go to my next chart, which is the daily. Daily is an uptrend, right? Daily is an uptrend. From wherever you want to do to wherever it is right now, it's an uptrend. Does that make sense? Do you see that too? Uptrend on the daily, right? Perfect. Weekly. Weekly, it is an uptrend. You could say that it possibly turned just now, but the weekly is also an uptrend, and the monthly is an uptrend, okay? So, that's what I consider to be the higher time frame charts. Does that make sense to everybody? Those are what I consider the higher time frame charts, the 4-hour, the daily, the weekly, and the monthly. Now, the question for you guys is, do you know how rare it is that every higher time frame aligns in the same direction? Do you know how rare that is? Does anyone want to answer that question? Is it rare? Is it pretty common that all 4 of the major time frames are in the same direction? Is it rare, or is it happen a lot? Anybody want to answer that question? It's rare. It's extremely, extremely rare. So if all higher time frames are aligned in the same direction, and we also know with the Russia-Ukrainian situation going on, that's going to drive gold going up. So you're talking about technicals and you're talking about fundamentals, right? Fundamentals, technicals, you're talking about all that. The Russia-Ukraine thing is going to drive gold up, but also the U.S. economy, I live in the United States, the U.S. economy is in big trouble. The U.S. economy is in big trouble. Inflation is over 7.5%. The U.S. economy is in big trouble. And when inflation goes up, what happens to gold? When inflation rises, what happens to gold? Anybody want to tell me what happens to gold when inflation rises? Gold goes up, right? Gold is a hedge against inflation. Gold has been a hedge against inflation from the very beginning, and gold will continue to be a hedge against inflation. Okay? Safe havens, exactly right. Now we're going to talk about the pattern that I was talking about in that chat room where there's a bunch of dumb people. I don't disagree with you, but at least it's not Canada right now, right? Okay, so we talked about the pattern. If I take all of my trades on a 1-hour time frame, okay, I analyze on the 4-hour, the daily, the weekly, and the monthly to see what the trend is, and then I take my entries on the 1-hour time frame. Okay, so I'm going to show you what a sell would look like. This candle right here was a perfect sell candle. That wick at the top of that candle is longer than the body of the candle, right? Right there. Once I draw that, that wick at the top is longer than the body. Does everybody see that? And it has no tail or very little tail at the bottom. Does everybody see that? Everybody in this room see that? Okay, so you would have entered a sell at the opening of the next 1 hour candle, which would have been 1908, and it would have made a low of right here at 1906. Okay, now you're trading against the trend, right? You're trading against the trend, so your expectations of what you might get need to be different. Yes, the body of the candle, the body, where the body is and the tail. Okay, so you're trading against the trend, so you can sell, but your expectations of what you are going to get are going to be different, if that makes sense, right? What we want to do is we want to look for buys because we've established, right? We've established that the higher time frame trend is a buy. So here's a buy candle right there, right? That tail at the bottom of the body of the candle is longer than the body of the candle, right? And it's very little wick at the top. It can have a little bit of wick, and you guys have to determine that. That might have been one right there. But it has to be at the close of the 1 hour chart, right? So I'm looking, and that's why I keep saying to everybody, I'm buying dips. Every time it goes down, I'm buying dips. And again, the reason is because every higher time frame is an uptrend. You have the technicals and you have the fundamentals screaming uptrend, right? Both technicals and fundamentals are screaming uptrend. You can sell, but you're jumping in front of a moving train, and I don't know why you would sell. I would just wait for opportunities to buy. Now, where is our next target, right? The next target is just your next major resistance level, right? Your next major resistance level is up here at 1913 area from February 22nd, right here. Or maybe a little bit higher from February, same area, right? February 22nd, it came up to this 1913, 1914 area. That's your next major resistance level, right? Does everybody see that? Does everybody see that? Really simple, right? Does that mean it's going to go all the way up there? No. But we're not trading, when you trade the markets, you're not trading certainties, right? You're trading probabilities. So the probability, if it's going to go down, most likely it's going to hit the resistance area and then go down, right? Most of the time it's not going to go down in no man's land. So the highest probability is that it will hit that 1913, which it basically did, or close enough, right? And then if it's going to go down, it'll go down from there. That's not to say it can't go down from where it is right now. No one's saying that. I'm talking about what's the highest probability. And the highest probability is it comes up and it touches this resistance level. And then if it's going to go down, it goes down from there. Now, if we go to the 4 hour chart, if we get past that 1914 area, you don't see a lot of resistance past 1914. You go to the daily chart, you don't see it there. You can go to the weekly chart, the weekly chart, you see it, right? I want you guys to focus on this, because if we get past 1914, okay, or 1916 area, this red level right here, 1916 is from, excuse me, 1916 from here in May of 2021. Does everybody see that? Does everyone see 1916 from May of 2021? I just circled right there. You guys see that? If we get past 1916, where is the next resistance level? The next resistance level is all the way at the top, isn't it? The next resistance level is this resistance level back at 1960. That's the next major resistance level from back in January, December of 2021. Does everybody see that? You can't see it on my chart. I should just scroll this a little bit. Sometimes maybe if I do that for a second, you guys will be able to see it. I have one of those curved screens. But that 1960 level is from back in December of 2021, right? Okay, so what happens if we break 1916? What we want to do, if we want to buy more, is we want it to break above 1916 by a good 30 or 40 points, because most of the time breakouts are false breakouts, right? Does everybody understand that? Most breakouts are false breakouts. So if we want to buy again, we want to see it break above 1916 by maybe 30 or 40 points, pull back to 1916 or somewhere in this area, and it could go lower. It doesn't have to be right 1916, and then give us that buy candle, right? On the 1 hour time frame, I'll just circle it right there. There's a perfect buy candle right there. Does that make sense to everybody? There's a perfect buy candle. That candle I just circled has a tail longer than the body of the candle with very little to no wick at the top. Does that make sense? So if we want to buy again, we would want to see it break above 1916 by a good 30 or 40 points, pull back to the 1916 area or a little bit below, and then give us that buy candle. Does that make sense? Okay. If we want to sell, we would want to sell around this 1916 area with the sell signal, right? If we get the sell signal around 1916, then we look to sell it, right? But also remembering that a sell is counter trend, right? This would be a pretty good sell candle right there. But also knowing that sells are counter trend, so we want to be careful with sells. But if we break 1916, look at all this area, right? All this area in here, room where there's no resistance till 1960. That's a lot of room up there, right? A lot of room to go higher. So I will be looking for it to break 1916, pull back, and then I will add to some buys in the several accounts I have. Does anybody have any questions at this point? Any questions? Okay, and then once I get up, usually 40 to 50 points, people call them points, people call them pips. I don't really give a damn what you call it. It's all relative. I don't really care. Once you get up 40 to 50 points, pips, like if you get in a buy at 1910, 40 points would be 1914, right? Or 1950 would be that. My stops always go to break even. Always to break even. Once you're up 40 or 50 points, my stops always to break even. Always. I'll get to that in a minute. Okay, when I get up 60 to 80 points, my stop's to plus 20 maybe, and then I just let the markets get me out. I just keep moving my stops up the more profit I get into, and then I let the markets take me out of the trade. Because what I don't want to happen is say, oh my gosh, it broke 1916. I want this move up to 1960. I want to see if I can stick it in there till 1960, right? But if I get too wussy about it, then I'm gonna mess with my trade, right? So I'm just always moving my profits, and I'm comfortable. If I'm comfortable, no matter what, if I'm up 60 to 80 pips and my stops are at plus 20, I'm comfortable with the amount of money I have. Then I don't really care what it does at that point, right? So I'm not a scalper. My target for gold is above 2,000. It's above 2,100, and I'm going to hold these positions until then. Okay, but you always want to place your stops at break even once you're up a certain amount. It's just dumb to let winning trades become losing trades, right? Just dumb. Okay, but let's do it. Let's go to the 15-minute chart. Even though I hate a 15-minute chart, I will never trade a 15-minute chart because I personally think the 15-minute chart is just noise. Okay, but if you were to go to the 15-minute chart and you were to just start circling every time you had a buy or the sell pattern on the 15-minute chart, based on what we talked about, it will be 85% accurate over the long run on the 15-minute chart too. You can do it based off the 15-minute chart. Okay? I'm just highlighting a couple different examples of sells and buys on the 15-minute chart, right? A sell, again, is a wick at the top of the body of the candle longer than the body with no tail, right? And it looks like, what time is it right now? So we're 3 minutes away from this 15-minute candle closing right now, and if that wick at the top is longer than the body of the candle, you might sell it. But you also have to remember, again, you're trading counter trend. So I want to be very careful. I'm just going to wait for dips to buy. But you can do it on the 15-minute chart. You can do it on the 5-minute chart. It doesn't matter what chart you do it on, just back test it again. And don't take my word for it. I'm just a schmuck on the internet. Okay, don't take my word for it. Back test it. Back test it. Don't take my word for it. Back test it. You want to see it work on other pairs? It works on every pair, every time frame. It does not matter. You want to do it on the US 30? I've been killing the US 30 for the last several weeks. And I'm looking for sells on the US 30, right? On the 1 hour time frame, I'm looking for sells. Every time you have a candle with a sell candle, I've been killing the US 30. It works on the US 30. It works on crypto. It works on any of them. Okay? And just again, back test it. I mean, look at all these examples of sells that you would have made really good money. He said he back tested on the US 30. Yeah. And then once you're up 40 to 50 points on the US 30, I always place my stops at break even on the US 30. Right? Manny the Gold Digger, remember, once you're up 40 to 50 points on gold, you set your stops at break even, right? Okay? You do it however you want, but once I'm up 40 to 50 on gold, I set my stops at break even. Once I'm up 60 to 80 points, my stops are at plus 10 or 20, right? Plus 10 or plus 20. And then once it goes up 80 to 100, maybe it's plus 30. And then the markets would have to take me out. Does that make sense? Maybe it's plus 30 at that point. So I'm trailing my stops all the time. Does that make sense? So I'm just trailing my stops, and once I trail my stops, the market will have to take me out of the trade. Does that make sense? Because remember, our targets are a lot higher. Our targets are 1960 to 2000, and I want to be in those trades. Now let me just do this because I love doing this. This is a small account that I started today. This is a live account. Okay, this is no silliness here. Okay, I started this account today to show people that you can trade a small account and you can make money with a small account. I put in $500 into this account today just so people could see it, and the account is up at $770. So I've made $270 today just on this account, and this account started today. Okay, we'll just go account history. Okay, I should say maybe not. I shouldn't say I started that. I put money into this account. Okay. That's kind of weird. I guess we have to do a different. Let's go 220, 223 maybe, I don't know. There it is right there. Okay, so you can see it. I don't bullshit anything. Okay, you can see that there was 497 auto account deposit. I think you guys can see that on there. Can you see that on the YouTube stream? And there you can see it on just a small account today. Now I have like 7 live accounts. I have a TD Ameritrade account that no one will ever see, that I have gold buys in since the 1400s. You'll never see that. All of these, I have like 7 different live accounts. All of them are 500 to 1 leverage, right? And then all the money I make during the month goes into my TD Ameritrade account, which is my retirement account. I have gold buys from multiple gold buys in my TD Ameritrade account, and no one will ever see it because it's none of your fucking business. But I have multiple buys on that. So I use the leverage of these accounts, and the money I make on these accounts, I put into my TD Ameritrade account. So there you go. No, I don't hide behind TradingView. I'm not like most of these people on YouTube. I don't hide behind TradingView. I'm not scared to show my terminal with live trades that are in there. If you hide behind TradingView when you do your live streams, you're a pussy. Okay? If you can't show people a live history of success, then you're a pussy. If you hide behind TradingView and you don't show people the entries you're in, you're a pussy. If you don't like that, go cry to someone else because I really don't care. Okay? This is a live account, one of my 7 live accounts, and I've made what? 50% on it today? 50% in one day? If you can't show live account with live trades in it and you hide behind TradingView, you're a pussy. I'm sorry. That makes people feel bad. But you know what the thing about it is too? And I'm going to tell you guys something that has been true. I've been in the markets, like I said, for 18 years. The markets don't give a crap about me. Okay? They don't know my name. The markets don't give a crap about you. They don't give a crap about any of us. Okay? If you can't handle some schmuck on the internet like me making fun of you or having a little fun at your expense, you're never going to make it in the markets. Does that make sense to everybody? Does that make sense to everybody? The markets don't give a damn about you. The markets don't give a damn about me. I've been in them for 18 years. They still don't give a damn about me. So if you get emotional because someone makes fun of you, you should probably just stop trading right now. Okay, you've got to grow thick skin. I have the same emotions whether I win on a trade or I lose on a trade. My emotions are the same because the markets don't give two flying fucks about us. Okay? I became a successful trader when my emotions were the same whether I won or lost on a trade. Does that make sense to everybody? The markets don't care. The markets don't care. But I also am not a scalper. Okay, like I said, I'd rather get kicked in the balls than scalp. You'll never see indicators on my chart. I don't need indicators because the big boys, and I'll tell you guys this, I know some of you guys have heard this before. If you have, I apologize. I learned from one of the best 18 years ago, and he actually sat down with the bank traders and learned how to trade alongside the bank traders. And a lot of people that are influencers here say, you know what, don't get in the way of the big boys. Just get your little piece of the pie and then get out of there before the big boys. And I always say, why not learn how to trade alongside the big boys? Why not learn how to spot the markets and read the markets like they do and get in the car and trade with them? And so that's what these candles tell you. And that's why to this day, my mentor, who's a good high school buddy of mine, we still talk, is the best at chart analysis I've ever seen in my life. And I've been doing this for 18 years. So the big boys, they leave signs, right? They leave signs on these candles. And you have to learn to read what the candles are telling you because they leave signs in the market. The question is, if I have that candle right here, let's say it's this candle right here. Let's circle this one. With the tail longer than the body of the candle. What is that signifying? What are they trying to tell you there? What are the big boys or the market makers trying to tell you? Can anyone guess? What are the big boys trying to tell you? What are they trying to say? That to me, that candle that's being circled tells me that sellers came into the market, right? Tried to push down and got rejected, right? That tells me that sellers tried to push down and buyers came into the market. Does everybody understand that? That tells me you had if you want to call it order block, you want to call it whatever you want, order block, all those things are fancy words for support and resistance, right? Order blocks, what are the other names that people use for basic support and resistance? Order blocks, supply and demand zones, right? They're all the same. It's basic support and resistance. Okay, so yeah, that tells you that sellers tried to push and buyers came into the market, right? Gustavo, you're exactly right. And also knowing what we know, that the trend of gold is an uptrend. Every time you see those buyers coming into the market, you want to buy. That's why I've been saying in that room for weeks, buy every dip. Buy every dip in gold. I've been saying that in that chat room for weeks, but it's full of idiots. It's full of idiots that keep saying sell. And again, I'm not saying it can't sell, but why would you jump in front of a moving train? Why would you jump in front of a massive bullish uptrend and hope to catch a falling knife? Why not just wait for a opportunity to buy and then buy again? Okay, but they're idiots. 99% of the people in that chat room are idiots. You'll never see an indicator on my chart, but do you know one of the reasons why I go into that chat room is? Do you know one of the reasons why I go into the chat room is? One of the reasons I go into that chat room, because if the old saying that 80 to 90% of traders lose, right? And I believe that. If that old saying that 80 to 90% of those traders lose, then most of the people in there are losers, right? So let's just go to the chat room in there. We'll just go there for a second. If the old saying is true that 80 to 90% of traders lose, there's 125 people in there right now. Let's just say 80% of them are going to lose. So what's 80% of 125? 125 times 0.80. That means 100 out of the 125 people in there are losers, right? And if it's 90%, then it's even worse, right? So who's my best indicator? If that's the case, and the old saying is true, and I believe it's true that 80 to 90% of traders lose, then who is my best indicator? They're the best indicator because they're idiots. They are your best indicator. See what the herd is doing and do the opposite of what the herd is. It's called contrarian, right? Be a contrarian. Be a contrarian. That's why I go in there. Well, it comes down to on the 1 hour time frame, you can do, like I said, Red, you can do it on the 15-minute chart, you can do it on the 1 hour chart, you can do it on whatever chart you want. You want to get silly for a second? Let's go to Bitcoin. Let's go to Bitcoin, right? Market Watch, we'll go to Bitcoin. I'm not a Bitcoin trader much, but let's go to Bitcoin. Because it works on crypto too. The pattern works on crypto. Okay, we'll do the background white because everyone seems to like that better. And the foreground we'll do that right there. Okay, there's Bitcoin, right? I'm not a huge fan of Bitcoin. I don't trade Bitcoin a lot, but you can see that the pattern will work on Bitcoin. It doesn't matter what currency you're trading. Okay, we can see sells here on Bitcoin, sell there. You start coming down here, you start seeing some buys, possibly buys. You know, it works. Okay, now is it going to work every time? Is it going to work every time? No. Anyone who tells you that their system is 100% accurate, please run away and hide from them because they're full of shit. Okay? Anyone who tells you that their system is 100% accurate, please run away from them because they're full of shit. There is no system in Forex, in the markets, that is 100% accurate. Losses are a part of the game. Don't be afraid of losses. It puts hair on your chest. Actually, I hate hair on my chest, but losses are a part of the game. No system is 100% accurate. Anyone who tells you their system is 100% accurate, run away and hide from them. I'm a little bit older now. I don't run as fast, but they're full of shit. Okay, does that make sense? Run away from them. There is no system that is 100% accurate. Period. Full stop. End of story. And there's no such thing as, you'll go into that chat room, right? You'll go into that chat room, they're like, it's going to go, it has to go down. I see that all the time in there. It has to go down. Gold doesn't have to do anything. What the hell are you talking about? Gold doesn't have to go down. Oh, it's overbought on the 4 hour. Who freaking cares? I wouldn't pay attention to overbought. I wouldn't care. And then they'll say it has to do this or it has to do that. Anyone who deals in absolutes doesn't know how to trade. I hope that makes sense too, right? We deal in probabilities. Okay? We're not Sith Lords from Star Wars. Only Siths deal in absolutes, right? So when someone says it can't do this or it has to do that or it has to do that, no, it doesn't. It doesn't have to do anything. You're not in control of the markets, neither am I, right? But you can go into that chat room and I guarantee you, you'll see all the time, gold has to do this, gold has to do that. It's going to go up, it's going to go down. Then why don't you full margin sell it? Because the sellers will be like, it has to go down. Then full margin sell. But they won't. They'll never put their money where their mouth is because they're pussies. Okay? Gold doesn't have to do anything. You have to get away from the idea that gold has to do something. Just look at your charts, read the charts, get away from the indicators. You don't need them because all the candlesticks tell you everything you need to know. You'll never see an indicator on my chart. Fibos, RSI, MACD, they're all garbage. And you know why they're garbage? Because they're lagging indicators, right? They lag price. By the time MACD tells you to buy when it crosses over or does that, the move is already 50% of the way done, right? And if you're talking about Fibos, which Fibo level is more important? The 61.8, the 50, the 38.2? I mean, there's a Fibo level every 5 pips, right? There's a Fibo level every 5 pips. Fibos, all of those indicators that you think are you can use, and they're garbage. And guess who else knows about those levels? Guess who else knows about those Fibo levels? Guess who else knows all about all those indicators you're using? Guess who else knows about those? The big boys, the people that move the market, right? And people like, oh, the big boys don't care about us. They don't care about us retail traders. Wrong. If big boys can get 10,000 retail traders doing the wrong thing at the wrong time, that's easy money, right? It's like stealing candy from a baby. But if you've ever tried to steal candy from a baby, you know it's actually not easy. They get pretty cranky about that, right? But banks know where you place your stops. All of these people know where you place your stops. And they will move the markets. They'll get you out. I mean, how many times, and it's happened to me, right? How many times have we said, dang it, I had the direction right. My stop loss was just too tight. It's happened to me before. It happens to all of us, right? Man, I had the direction right. My stop loss was just too tight. It happens to all of us because the banks know, the people that move the markets know where you place your stops. Okay, so there's one other thing I want to talk about too, and then I'm going to get going here pretty quick. Let's circle a candle, and this one may not be a perfect example, but let's circle a candle here, and then I'm going to take off. Okay, so let's say you got into gold where that circle is right there. Okay, and the next candle opened at 1908. Does everybody see that? The one I just circled in pink? Does everybody see that? Okay, so you would have gotten in at 1908. Does everybody see that? Perfect. Now your stop loss needs to be below the low of that tail. Does that make sense to everybody? So your stop loss needs to be below 1906. 1906, and I don't want it right at the bottom of that tail, right? So your stop loss would need to be below the low of that tail, and I don't want it right at the stop loss. I want it 20 or 30 pips below there because I don't want them to come and stop me out, right, at that area. And then, so I probably would have it below this area right here, but you don't want it right at the bottom of the tail of that candle. I'd probably have it below here, which is below 1904. Okay? But you don't want it right there because they'll come and stop you out. And then it'll go in that direction. One of the bigger YouTube influencers here, and he's an idiot too, got caught up in that this morning, and the guy's an idiot. He got caught up in that this morning. Okay? Maybe we'll go to this. Maybe we'll go to it. Because this guy's a clown. And but it's pretty funny. Let's just go to it real quick. And he's a pretty popular streamer. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing, but he gets a lot of people to go into his streams. And this happened to him. This happened to him this morning because he bought gold, right? Yeah, controller, exactly. He bought gold, but he bought gold, and his stop loss was, he had such a sissy stop loss, right? He had such a sissy stop loss that he got stopped out of the trade, and then the trade went in the direction he wanted it to go. Why is it doing that? Okay, so he got in and he lost because he's trading with like a 10-point stop loss, and that's, see, look at this right here. Okay, and we'll go to this. We'll go to his trade later, and you'll see what happens. Why is it going blank? But anyways, he got stopped out at minus, and then part of it was, let's see here. We got to go even a little bit further. I don't know why this is doing this. Because he trades like a pussy. He has such tight stop loss. And the problem with scalping for me is you have to be so accurate with your entries that one little market manipulation and you're done. You're out. Okay, look. -5 and break even on half. And this is at 1901 or 19, whatever it is. And then what happened to gold the rest of the day? What happened to gold the rest of the day? If he had balls, which he doesn't, If he had balls, he would have held on to his trade and trusted the analysis. And look, the gold's at 19.13 now. He would have made a lot of money. But because he's a pussy and he doesn't have any balls, he took his trade out because he doesn't trust it. And the crazy part about it is, look at this. This is also a guy that says he makes $20,000 to $40,000 a month, but he lives in his parents' house. That's his parents' house that he's living in right there, and he's in his room trading in his room, but he makes $20,000 to $40,000 a month. If I'm 21 and I make $20,000 to $40,000 a month, I'm not living in my parents' house. I'm getting my own place. It's really nice. Get your own place. It's Canada, right? So they're Nazis up there. But I mean, if you look in Canada, you can get a nice place for like $2,000 a month. Get your own place, bro. But he lives in his parents' house. That's why he has to do it in his bedroom, right? So wouldn't that raise a red flag to you? Wouldn't that raise a red flag to you? If this guy says he makes $20,000 to $40,000, but he's living in his parents', I need to check your mental health at that point. I have a master's degree in clinical and forensic psychology. I do. I need to check your mental health at that point. If you're living with your parents at 21 and you make $20,000 to $40,000, I'm sorry. I need to check your mental health. Okay, and he does not make money trading. Okay, he has a signal service where he charges $200 a month, I think, and they're shitty signals. That's how he makes money. He doesn't make money trading. And he'll never show you a live account like I did, right? He'll never show you this. He'll never show you his terminal. He'll always hide behind TradingView because he's a pussy. He's a pussy. You will never, ever, ever see him show his terminal with trades he's in. You know why? Because he doesn't do it. What is this right here that I'm showing you guys right here? And this is a smaller account, right? What is that terminal? Am I afraid to show that? What is that? Does that look like a terminal? Does that look like an MT4 terminal? Am I afraid to show that with live trades that account is in right now? No. Why? Because I'm not a pussy. I'm not a pussy. And he teaches it to other people. Yeah. It's crazy. Now, if you guys want to follow me on Instagram, you can follow me on Instagram. Let me show you my Instagram page here, because I'm a sexy bitch. Let's just go here. Ironman Futures Trading on Instagram is my Instagram. You can go follow me. Oh, A-Rod, my brother, what's up? Follow me on Instagram, Ironman Futures Trading. There's also a scam account. Ironman Futures Trading is a scam. That guy loves me. I have a hater account, and I always say if you don't have a hater account, then you're not doing anything important. So go follow me on Instagram, Ironman Futures Trading on Instagram. I post all of my stuff there, and I also have a hater account against me. Ironman Futures Trading is a scam. I love him. He makes my heart boil and swell, but he's another loser. Okay, I post all of my stuff on there. If you go to my account, right there, all of my stuff is on there. All of my trades. You just see a bunch of trades. I know, A-Rod, I don't do this very often. All of my trades are here. Okay? You got a picture of little Nazi Justin Trudeau in Canada, who is seizing people's bank accounts because they decided to donate $40 to the truckers in Canada. So you have little Nazi Justin Trudeau right there, little communist, little bastard Justin Trudeau, who is seizing crypto wallets of people in Canada and seizing their bank accounts if they donated to the trucker convoy. That guy's a coward. That guy's a tyrant and a coward. But there's my Instagram account right there. You can follow that. We're pretty sexy. But you'll never see any of these people show you live trades because they don't do it, because they're pussies. I have balls. I'll show you everything. I have balls. Okay? And you'll see everything that I do, because I'm not afraid to show an MT4 terminal. Now, again, this is a small account, but I'm trying to show people that this account, like we said, put $500 in it today, and it's already at $810. So that's $300 made today on a little $500 account. Yeah, they hide behind trading because they're pussies. So $500 in this account, and I'll show you again. Put into this account this morning. There it is right there. You can see it. $500 put into this little account. And it's at 800 and... So I've made $300 on this account just today. What's the percentage on that? It's a good percentage, right? You don't want to see you'll never see my TD Ameritrade account, ever. My TD Ameritrade account has several $100,000 in it, and you'll never ever see it. Why? Because you have no right to, and I don't have to show anyone anything. But my TD Ameritrade account has several $100,000 in it, you'll never see it. Because I don't have to show you a damn thing, right? You're not entitled to anything, right? None of us are. We're not entitled to anything. But you'll never see that. That's my retirement account. And you'll never see that. And you don't have a right to see it. Right? No one has a right to see that. You're not entitled to anything. That's, I think, one of the problems with this generation today is they all think they're entitled to stuff. They're entitled to my analysis in that gold chat room. They're entitled to this. They're entitled to that. You're not entitled to anything. You're not entitled to shit. Go work for it, man. You know what I mean? I worked my ass off to get where I am, you know? I worked my ass off. And I'll be damned if I'm just going to, tell traders everything they should be doing. And that's the other thing that, before I go, I'll say about that chat room, because they're always saying, buy or sell, buy or sell. Well, what the hell do your charts tell you? Right? What the hell do your charts tell you? You're never going to become a better trader relying on people on the internet that you've never met telling you what to do. Learn how to read a chart. Okay, if you're asking if it's a buy or sell, and you're asking random people in a stupid YouTube chat, you probably should stop trading now, or you should give me your money and I'll spend it better than you are, because you're an idiot. Learn how to read a chart. Learn how to read a chart and stop asking random strangers, which again, like we talked about earlier in the stream, 90% of them are losers anyway. Why would you ask some loser on some YouTube chat if it's a buy or sell? Learn how to read a fucking chart. It will help you. And they're like, well, you're not helping us, Iron Man. It's not my job to help you. My job is to make money. I come in here to see what you guys are doing. I'm not talking about anyone necessarily in here. I come in here to see what you guys are doing. I do the opposite. You guys are my best indicator. I've been trading for 18 years, Philly Lion. For 18 years I've been trading. These people in that chat room, they're my best indicator because they're stupid. It's not my job to tell you what to do and to help you make money. My job is to make money. And in order to make money, someone has to lose, right? Because this is a zero-sum game. Someone has to lose. So, I'm sorry, but 90% of those people in there are losers. And they're going to lose. And I'm going to take their money. But you can lessen your chances of losing money if you'll trade with the trend, right? You can trade counter trend and you can make money counter trend trading on gold, which would be selling right now. But the way you're going to make the most money is to trade with the higher time frame trend, and the higher time frame trend is up. So if you want to buy gold, you would wait for it to, let's go back, let's just review this again real quick. So, because gold's breaking up, right? Gold's breaking up. So it broke above this 1910 area. So again, if we want to buy gold, we want it to retrace back down to the 1910 area, or even lower, right? A little bit lower than 1910, whatever, and then give us the buy signal, right? Does that make sense to everybody? We would want it to retrace to the 1910, and it can go lower than 1910, and then we want that tail at the bottom, like this candle here. We want that tail at the bottom longer than the body of the candle at the close of a 1 hour candle. Okay, we do not take trades until the 1 hour candle closes. Okay, so that gives you a lot of time in between those hours. Now, if it breaks 1916, right, if it breaks this area up here at 1914, excuse me, then what we'd want to see is a break above 1914 by 30 or 40 points, right? if it breaks above, and then a pull back to 1914 and we can buy again. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So if we want to buy again, we can buy again up above 1914, but we'd want to make sure it's not a false breakout. We'd want it to pull back to that 1914 area, and then we'd want that same pattern, right? That tail at the bottom longer than the body. And if it gets past that 1915, 1916 area, remember what we talked about earlier in the stream. Not everyone was here, so we'll go back to it. If it gets past that 1916 area, the next major resistance is 1960. So I want to be in these buys because I think it could go to 1960. The next major resistance isn't till 1960, which was basically around January 3rd of 2021. Does everyone see that? January 3rd of 2021, it was at 1960. Look at all this room between where it could possibly break at 1916 here and 1960. Right? You guys see that? I want to be in those buys, and I want to hold my buys until it goes up there. Okay? Now, does that mean it's going to go up there? No. It could sell off. But the highest probability is if it breaks 1916, that we're going to go to that next major resistance, which would be 1960. So a break above 1916, maybe 1920, 1921, a pullback to 1916, and then a buy candle up to 1960 would be your first target. Does that make sense to everybody? That makes sense? Does that make sense to everybody? This stream will be on my YouTube. You can view it anytime. I'm always around. You know, I'm always in that chat room making fun of people, and it's just for fun. Don't take it too seriously. People always think that trading full time is just always awesome. 90% of the time, trading full time is boring. Okay, it's boring because I can only trade at the close of 1 hour candles, right? So I'll just go in there and just mix it up just because I'm bored. But trading full time isn't as glamorous as most people think it is. Trading full time is boring. Boring. Okay? It's not that glamorous, to be honest with you. My wife and I are going to Hawaii in a few weeks. And then after that, I am home for 2 weeks. And then I go to Alaska for 2 weeks. So I got a lot of traveling going on. Because freedom to me, guys, freedom to me is being able to do whatever the hell you want, whenever the hell you want, with whoever the hell you want. I am able to do that because I trade full time. I make money. That's how I pay my bills. My house is paid off. I don't have a mortgage. I don't have any credit card debt. I have nothing. In order to make money every month I have to make very little. So freedom to me and all that is being able to do whatever the hell I want, whenever the hell I want. And I can. We're going to Hawaii for 10 days in 3 weeks, and then I am home for 15 days, then I go to Alaska for 2 weeks. I get to do whatever the hell I want, whenever the hell I want. That to me is freedom. That's why I do this. I could go get a job, right? I could go get a job. I have a master's degree in clinical and forensic psychology. I could go get a job, but what job am I going to get that's going to make me $200 an hour? And I can sit there and do nothing the rest of the day. I can go watch soap operas, or I can go do whatever I want. So until they find me a job that's going to pay me $1,000 a day or more, I'll just continue to do this because I get to do whatever I want. I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying you have to find out what motivates you, right? What is your driving force? What is it that drives you to become the person that you want to be, or the trader that you want to be? To me, it's freedom. I could show you what's in my bank account. I've shown that a couple times. I have thousands and thousands of dollars in several of my bank accounts. I don't have to do nothing. I could stop trading right now and stop trading for several years and just be fine. I could care less. But I enjoy it, and I enjoy making fun of people, and that's kind of fun. All right, any other questions before I get going? I will be chatting in that chat room all evening, so, and then I'll try and, fool around with the old lady. I've been married for 21 years. I have 5 children. My oldest is 19. Second oldest is 16. My next oldest is 12, 10, all 4 boys. And then I have a baby girl, 8-year-old girl, who has dad wrapped around her finger. So I have a lot of responsibility. So, but I've been married for the same woman for 21 years, the love of my life. The love of my life. She's awesome. She's 5'11" volleyball player. She's beautiful. Hopefully she's not listening right now, but she's beautiful. I love her to death. Advice for taking on a funding challenge? Pass it. I don't know. I have 2 funded accounts with FTMO. I have 2 $50,000 funded accounts. And I have a payout tomorrow. I think I'm getting paid a couple $1,000 tomorrow. I have a payout tomorrow. So my actual goal for this year is to bankrupt FTMO. That's my goal this year, is to make so much money from FTMO that they can't pay me. I'm trying to bankrupt them. So I have 2 $50,000 accounts. I'm going to get a $200,000 account here in the next couple of days. My goal is to bankrupt those fools. So, anyways, everyone have a great day. Like I said, I'll be in the gold chat room chatting with you, goofballs. And like I said, this stream will be up. You guys can view it. Trading is not complicated. I'm going to end with this. I keep saying I'm going to end with this, but I am going to end with this. Trading is not complicated, okay? Don't make it more complicated than it has to be. Trade around major support and resistance level. Use the pattern that we talked about in this stream, and you'll be accurate 85% of the time. Who wants to be accurate 85% of the time? If I tell you you're going to be right 80 to 85% of the time, who'll take those odds? Every one of you will take those odds, right? Every one of us will take those odds. I'll take those odds, right? If you know you're going to be right 80 to 85% of the time over the long run, all of us will take those odds, right? So just follow the major trend, trade the major trend, which on gold is up, buy dips, and look for that pattern to buy. Don't buy unless it's a 1 hour candle close with that buy pattern, and you will make more money than you know what to do with. So, all right. Trade the trend. The trend is your friend. It does not mean you can't sell. Like, for instance, this candle that closes in 11 minutes, this possibly could be a sell signal on gold, right? You could definitely sell gold. Your expectations on what you want, you probably want to set your stop loss at break even at 20 to 30 points. But I'm just gonna continue to buy and stack buys and look for opportunities to buy. So if it dips lower, that's great. I can buy more. Okay, not afraid to buy more. But you could sell it. It works. The pattern works even if you're counter trend trading. It works. But your expectations better be a little bit different, right? I will just wait to buy dips. But that's just me. You do whatever the hell you want. That's the other thing that people are in there. Can we buy or sell right now? Do you have thumbs? Do you have fingers? You can do whatever the hell you want, right? Because people will go into that chat room. Can we buy or sell? Yeah, you have the ability to push the button, right? You can do whatever the hell you want. The question is, should you do that? Right? The question isn't, can I buy or sell? Well, yeah, you have the ability to do that. You can push the button. The question is it the right thing to do? Right? So if it was up to me and I was the what do they call it? The moderator in that stream, every time someone asked if it's a buy or sell, I would ban them. Because you're asking stupid questions. If you don't know if it's a buy or sell, learn how to read a damn chart, right? Don't ask random people in a YouTube stream if it's a buy or sell. If it was up to me, I would ban every single loser that comes in there and asks, is it a buy or sell? Why don't you learn how to read a chart? And why don't you tell us what it is? All right, everybody. Everybody have a great night. Like I said, I will be chatting in there. And we'll see you guys.